40th gene key. The will to surrender. Programming partner, 37th gene key. Codon ring, the ring of alchemy. 6, 40, 47, 64. Physiology, stomach. Amino acid, glycine. The 40th shadow, exhaustion. The energetics of force and will. The 40th gene key and its shadow concern the correct or incorrect use of the power of the human will. The secret of this gene key is found in the difference between the words energy and force. Energy in this context refers to the natural vitality that flows into your actions in the world. Whenever your actions are in alignment with the universe, the requisite energy is supplied from deep within your being. However, when your actions do not flow from your true source but are forced, your energy will be depleted. The malfunctioning of the 40th shadow is deeply connected to the conversion of food and liquid into energy through the medium of the stomach. In the age-old traditions of Oriental medicine, the overall health of the human body is seen in terms of its vitality, or qi. According to this tradition, there are two forms of qi: prenatal qi, which is the inherited vitality that you are born with and which governs your eventual age, and postnatal qi, which you extract from food and nature. The Oriental approach to health is based upon conserving your prenatal qi wherever possible, while at the same time boosting your postnatal qi. The 40th shadow of exhaustion comes about due to ineffective energy conversion of food and liquid into postnatal qi, resulting in the body having to draw upon its precious reserves of prenatal qi. Coupled with its programming partner, the 37th shadow of weakness, these two low-frequency energy patterns gradually wear human beings down to the bone. Like all 32 of the shadow pairings, this process is a vicious cycle. At the higher levels of frequency, the 40th gene key is actually responsible for transforming our civilization and society through fruitful alliances, solid boundaries, and mutually beneficial exchanges between individuals, communities, and even entire nations. However, the 40th gene key has the gift of resolve, which means that people with this gene key in their hologenetic profile are born with great willpower, a greatly misunderstood human faculty. We usually see willpower as something that all human beings can access as long as they have the inner strength. There is a credo in the West that says if you want something badly enough, you can always make it happen. It's simply a matter of willpower. This is the kind of conditioning that the 40th shadow feeds on. Willpower used in the wrong direction becomes force, and even though it may still succeed in its endeavor, the results to the body will be catastrophic and irreversible. When someone begins to force their life away from its natural direction, problems related to the stomach and to digestion crop up. Because the energy from food is not being properly converted, there is usually a build-up in stomach acid that over time can lead to all kinds of far more serious problems, ranging from ulcers to full-blown cancer. The incorrect use of your will also puts an enormous strain on your kidneys and adrenals as the body struggles to supply the energy to push against the universal flow. The result in the long run is premature aging, disease, and exhaustion. For most human beings, this is the normal way. Even so, the human body is an incredibly tough organism and can sustain an enormous amount of punishment. There are two ways in which the 40th shadow can overwhelm you, either through attempting to force your own willpower without having adequate support from others, or from allowing others to take advantage of your weak willpower and giving in to compromise. This latter scenario is very common among the business community, where people work in jobs with little or no resolve and for fees that are far too low. The problem is that when you compromise and work in a job that doesn't allow your spirit room to breathe, your low frequency actually reinforces your low self-esteem, so you accept whatever you are paid. Another way in which the 40th shadow works is through individual force of will. These are the people on the other end of the same dynamic, the slave drivers who take advantage of the people with the weak willpower. Such people isolate themselves from others, becoming lost in their own ambitions and their addiction to work. The steady energy drain on their core vitality lowers their frequency and closes their hearts to others. Despite this, such people often maintain their direction through sheer force of will, but at the cost of their very humanity. As you will see, the The most important secret to this gene key is the art of relaxation. For those under the influence of the 40th shadow, relaxation is virtually impossible. In point of fact, true relaxation is one of the most absent qualities in civilization today. The 40th shadow is partly responsible for another low-frequency human state, that of loneliness or isolation. When you work at something you love, using your energy harmoniously, you automatically activate support from others and therefore do not feel lonely. However, when you push against the flow or give in to someone else's flow, loneliness always rears its head. When you allow your energy to be misused by another, which is the repressive nature of this gene key, your natural support network is withdrawn, giving you the feeling of being cut off from life, when in fact it is your own action or lack of action that has caused this state. Yet another manifestation of this shadow frequency is a type of loneliness that comes when individuals isolate themselves from others through their refusal of support or by constantly biting the hand that feeds them. This is a typical behavior pattern of the reactive nature of this shadow. This latter brand of loneliness is less obvious because such willful people often appear to have great strength and independence, whereas in reality, at a more unconscious level, they are just as weak and lonely as the repressive side. The 40th shadow is adept at denial, and its prime denial concerns feelings. People with this shadow active often deny the fact that they have feelings, and it is this denial that ultimately leads to their downfall. Whenever human beings emotionally isolate themselves from others, they put themselves in great danger. The subtle quantum field, known as the astral plane, simply makes it impossible to separate yourself from other human beings. This kind of denial turns the negative frequencies in on themselves, driving them deep into your body, where they will gradually become more and more acidic, eating away at you. The 40th shadow is one of the most deep-seated causes of cancerous diseases on our planet. It takes root whenever someone is unable or unwilling to face and feel the depth of their emotional pain. It is through this gene key that you have to deal with the fact that you alone are responsible for your health on all levels. Although others can offer you support and at times hold your hand, it is you alone who must face your life and all that it brings you. Repressive nature, acquiescent. These are people who lack firm boundaries in life. People with this nature easily acquiesce to manipulation by others, lacking the will to stand up for themselves. This permissive habit is rooted in denial of one's own needs, typically arising from patterns and coping strategies that developed in childhood. These people will give up themselves tirelessly, and usually to people of organizations that never really care about them. This 40th shadow drains people who do not value themselves and their energy enough. When such people come out of their denial and make a stand for themselves and themselves alone, their life can dramatically improve. Reactive nature, contemptuous. The reactive side of this shadow is about the denial of rage. Like the fear of the repressive nature, this rage has its roots in a difficult childhood. This kind of denial distorts the rage into contempt for others. These people can be extremely arrogant. They prey on the weaknesses of others for their own benefit. Such a sustained, disdainful attitude means that these people cannot afford to allow anyone to get too close to them. This reactive denial feeds on disrespect for others, and thus people with this reactive nature gradually erode their energy by cutting away all their support. Because their strong will is fueled by unconscious rage, they do not often appear to be exhausted, but inside, their constant need to isolate themselves from their community takes its toll in the end. The 40th gift, resolve, the lost art of doing nothing. When you activate the 40th gene key at a higher frequency, exhaustion becomes a thing of the past. When your life force is aligned correctly, you will discover that there is a vast amount of energy available to you. The same forces that drive the shadow also drive the gift, but the result is completely different. Everything about this 40th gene key is about having boundaries, and in order to create boundaries, you have to be able to deny other people access to your energy. You have to be able to say no. The correct use of this kind of isolation ensures that neither your energy nor your resources are ever depleted. The energy that goes into isolation can be a wonderful ally in life if used correctly. It is this ability to set personal boundaries around your energy and your time that gives rise to the gift of resolve. The 40th gift of resolve is about becoming adept at giving to yourself. Ultimately, it is about deep physical relaxation. It is that wonderful balance between serving the world and serving your own enjoyment. True resolve is not possible unless you know how to relax. Many people in the hectic modern world mistake the word rest with the word relaxation. We all need rest, yet perhaps even more, we need relaxation. Rest allows the physical body to recharge, but relaxation allows all of our subtle bodies to recharge as well. When we relax fully, our emotional and mental health is assured as well as our physical health. The 40th gift is a genetic reminder inside each of us of the great importance of relaxation in life. Life was never designed to be as hard as we humans sometimes make it. We have even designed a world that forces us to expend our willpower beyond what is comfortable and natural. The 40th gift, then, is a gift that knows how to save energy at all levels. It knows the great mystical importance of Wu Wei, the timeless art of doing nothing. For a person with the gift of resolve, nothing is really an effort because nothing has to be forced. These people may work extremely hard and use a great deal of energy, but unlike the shadow, they do not exhaust themselves. They know when to stop, and more importantly, they know when to say no. Work that is in harmony with your true nature is not really work at all. In this sense, it doesn't require willpower. Resolve means that willpower is built into the activity from the outset, so it flows effortlessly out of you, rather than having to be forced. In addition to this sense of effortlessness, the 40th gift engenders a great deal of respect and support from others. Unlike the shadow frequency, people living at the gift level do not feel a distrust of support, even though they will always maintain the integrity of their own space. These people actually inspire support and help from others. They often become the backbone of teams or projects because of their sheer power of their resolve. The other aspect of this 40th gift is a truly magical insight that is applicable to everyone, regardless of their genetic predispositions. Sometimes saying no to the right thing brings as much power as saying yes, and in some cases it brings even more power. People with the 40th gift act as agents of nature. If their resolve does not allow them to do something or offer someone their resources, then that person belongs somewhere else in the grand scheme of things. Even though the other may be disappointed or resentful at first, in the end they will see that the flow was correct for both parties. To say a firm and resolute no to the right person or thing is to stand rooted in the ground of your true being. Resolve is more than just willpower or determination. It is the flowering of your aloneness. This 40th gift thrives on solitude. The source of all your power lies in your love of being alone. This does not mean to say that people with this gene key in their hologenetic profile always have to be alone. It means that they do not suffer from loneliness because their life force is constantly in the process of giving birth. This inner abundance gives terrific strength to your aura and is likely to make you much sought after by others. The 40th gift is a genetic balance to its programming partner, the 37th gift of equality. Whereas the nature of the 37th gift is to endlessly offer support and succor to others, the 40th gift balances this through ensuring that you always have enough time, space, and enjoyment for yourself. Every human being has to eventually learn from this gift. It brings balance to our lives by reminding us of the true power of our aloneness. In the words of the poet Rilke, the individual who senses his aloneness, and only he, is like a thing subject to the deep laws, the cosmic laws. If a person goes out into the dawn or gazes out into the evening filled with happenings, if he senses what happens there, then all situations fall away from him as from someone dead, even though he stands in the midst of life. The 40th Siddhi, Divine Will, complete physical relaxation. At the highest frequencies, the gift of resolve becomes transformed into pure divine will. In many mystical pantheons, the qualities of the divine are divided into three main cosmic organs: the divine mind, the divine heart, and the divine will. Of these three, divine will is usually seen as the primary faculty out of which the other two emerge. The entire notion of the existence of a divine will is an aspect of humanity's need to know that there is some kind of beneficial force that controls the universe. In other words, this 40th siddhi actually concerns our perception of the existence of God. Two polarities within our genetics, the 37th and the 40th gene keys, form the bedrock of our beliefs and experience concerning the existence of a higher power. If we look at the 37th siddhi of tenderness, we can see that all those who have attained realization through the 37th siddhi have left an imprint within the collective psyche of humanity concerning the nature of the divine, and this imprint reflects a deeply tender and loving force underlying all creation. This tenderness is reflected in all mythologies and world religions that see the divine force as either a mother or father figure. In this view, we humans are seen as the children of God. However, when you look through the 40th siddhi, you see an entirely different picture, one that has caused great confusion amongst mystical seekers for millennia. Masters who have attained the 40th siddhi are the great mystical deniers of God. Just as the 40th shadow denies its own or others' needs, the 40th siddhi denies humanity's need for a God in the first place. This is an extremely powerful expression of the Siddhic state, because whenever it appears in the world, it essentially throws human seekers into a panic. When a man or woman has attained the ultimate Siddhic state, known as enlightenment, an undeniable energy emerges from them, the pure energy of consciousness itself. Such people speak with great power. Humanity's collective need to know that God exists is actually a need based on our deepest fear, the fear that we are alone in a godless universe. When the 40th siddhi expresses its divinity, it ironically does so by denying the existence of any separation between humanity and divinity. In doing this, the 40th siddhi forces humans to confront one of the great problems of seekers, that the seeking itself gets in the way of ultimate realization. If someone attains the Siddhic state through this 40th gene key, they will have done it in spite of God. This is the path of the mystical denial of the need for help from a God. Such people will follow no other teaching or master, but will travel their path absolutely alone. When they attain to the highest state, they will often speak about it in the terms of their denial. When the 40th siddhi speaks, it will say that there is no path to God because there is no God outside of your aloneness. They may say that all holy practices and methods of seeking God are futile. They may not even talk about their state as mystical or spiritual. These are people who often refute the whole notion of spirituality and holiness. Because of their radical position, such masters are not generally popular with the masses, or even with most seekers, but the vibration behind their words is undeniable to anyone who comes near them. The 40th siddhi exudes an aura of splendid aloneness and displays an exquisite independence from the normal needs of human beings. Their words are simple, logical, penetrating, and sometimes deeply shocking. This is how consciousness uses denial as a means to bring others into deeper authenticity, by destroying all your human hopes of attaining a godlike state. Ironically, it is only when your hopes have been dashed that you are empty enough to experience such a state. These are deeply paradoxical teachings. As you can see, the siddhi of divine will is riddled with paradox. To those outside the Siddhic state, divine will seems like such a powerful concept. There is a reason behind everything, and that ultimately everything remains in the hands of a higher force. To the one immersed in this 40th siddhi, the paradox is wonderful, that God can only visit you when you are not there. When the experience does happen, the paradox is revealed in all its glory. Every human being is a point of divine will, and yet nothing exists outside of humanity. From this viewpoint, you are absolutely free to do as you wish in life, and yet at the same time, nothing you do is really in your hands. Within this siddhi lies the great mystery of free will and the state that the mystics refer to as choiceless awareness. Neither concept has any meaning at the Siddhic level, because in this state of awareness there is no one to make choices or not make choices. Such are the games that the 40th siddhi plays, and such are the horrors with which the 40th shadow struggles. The 40th siddhi has been responsible for what is generally termed the negative approach to realization, whereas its programming partner, the 37th siddhi of tenderness, represents the path of the true seeker of God. Both paths are wound deeply into the human genetic storyline, and both paths will eventually have to be transcended and left behind in order for the true state of realization to bloom. Despite its paradoxes, the 40th Siddhi remains one of the great mystical chess pieces in human evolution. In the teaching known as the Seven Seals, detailed in the 22nd gene key, the 40th Siddhi represents a code in human DNA that will transform humanity on the physical plane. At an individual level, the 40th Siddhi holds the key to complete physical relaxation, in which every molecule of DNA inside your body is functioning at its optimal frequency. This requires a huge process of karmic release, which is the job of the codon ring known as the Ring of Alchemy. The 4 gene keys in the Ring of Alchemy will transmute your DNA so that there is no longer any interference in your physical body. As you may understand from listening to the 22nd gene key, this means that your highest subtle bodies can manifest directly through your physical body. This is the real meaning of complete physical relaxation. It is a state beyond the comprehension of your mind. It is the direct manifestation of divine will.